Hello and welcome to this free preview lecture series of my on-demand FE Electrical and Computer Exam Preparation course. In this lecture, we are going to learn about matrix theory, which is an introductory lecture on the topic of matrices, and we have a multi-part lecture series on matrices. But before we dive into the content, I would appreciate if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hello and welcome to part 1 of our multi-part lecture series on the topic of matrix, which is a subsection of mathematics. In this lecture, we are going to learn about matrix theory, and we will look at its elements, dimensions, we'll discuss the rank of a matrix, and identity matrix. Matrix theory. So let us start by defining a matrix. Matrix is defined as a rectangular or square array of numbers that are arranged in rows and columns. So what is a rectangular and what is a square? Well, as we know, rectangular has two equal sides, whereas a square has all four sides equal to each other. So in this case over here, you can see that we have two rows and two columns. So it is a square. In this case, we have 1, 2, and 3 rows and 3 columns. So this is also a square. But over here, we have 1, 2, and 3 rows and 2 columns. So this is an example of a rectangular matrix. And then over here we have 2 rows and 3 columns. Again, this is a rectangular matrix. So in the case of a matrix, every entry of a matrix is called an element. So over here we can see that we have A11. It is one of the entries of this particular matrix, and it will be considered an element of this matrix. Similarly, A12, A21, A22. And in general, it is identified as A subscript I and J, where I refers to the row and J refers to the column. The number of rows and columns in a matrix determine its dimension. For example, over here we have 2 rows and 2 columns, so it's a 2 by 2 matrix. We have 3 rows and 3 columns, it's a 3 by 3 matrix. The first number represents rows and the second number represents columns. Over here we have 3 by 2 because number of rows is 3 and number of columns is 2. And over here we have 2 by 3 because the number of rows is 2 and the number of columns are 3. Rank of a matrix. Rank of a matrix is the maximum number of its linearly independent columns or rows. So what is linearly independent? It basically means a unique column or a unique row. So if we have one column which is a multiple of another column, that is not a unique column. And similarly, if a row can be obtained by adding or subtracting other rows, then it is not linearly independent. It is dependent, or it can be constructed by means of other rows. So linearly independent rows or linearly independent columns will basically determine the rank of a matrix. The rank of a matrix cannot be greater than the number of its rows or columns. So this is a condition, and we'll go through a practice problem in order to learn more about it. So rank of a matrix will also find its application in part 2 of this lecture series, and I will quickly review it at that point in time as well. Identity matrix. Identity matrix is a square matrix such that the number of rows and number of columns are equal, and it has non-zero entries along the diagonal in the form of 1. Okay, so if we are dealing with a 2 by 2 identity matrix, it will look like this. So along the diagonal you have 1, and everywhere else you will have 0. If you're dealing with a 3 by 3 identity matrix, so it will look like this. You have a series of 1 along the diagonal, and all the off diagonal entries are equal to 0. So what is the significance of an identity matrix? When you multiply any square matrix with the identity matrix, it will result back in the same square matrix. And we are going to discuss multiplication and multiplication of matrices in this lecture in quite a bit of detail. So we'll come up with some practice problems and examples. So don't worry about that. All you need to remember is that when a matrix is multiplied by an identity matrix, it will result in the same matrix. And the easy way to remember is that if I have a constant, if I multiply that constant with 1, I will get the same constant. It doesn't matter what is contained in this constant, and for that reason, if we have a number, so if 2 is multiplied by 1, then it will result in 2. It's basically a very similar concept. You take a matrix, you multiply it with the identity matrix, and you end up with the same matrix. Over here, we are doing a multiplication of a 2 by 2 matrix with the identity matrix and we are ending up with the same matrix. Over here we have a 3 by 3 matrix. We multiply it with the identity matrix over here and we end up with the same matrix. In this lecture series, you're going to see a lot of practice problems. In fact, I'm not going to simply rely on the definitions in order to explain you the concepts. I'm going to rely more heavily on the practice problems in order to convey the message and the underlying theory, because that is one of the best ways to learn, especially when it comes to mathematical concepts. So let's start with problem number 1. We have two matrices A and B, and this problem is asking us to determine the dimensions of these matrices. The dimensions of a matrix correspond to the number of rows and number of columns. In the case of matrix A, we can simply count the number of rows as 1, 2, and 3. So the number of rows are m equal to 3, and the number of columns as 1, 2, and 3 as well, and number of columns are n equal to 3. Therefore, its dimensions are rows into columns, which is 3 into 3. This is an example of a square matrix because the number of columns and number of rows are equal to each other. In the case of matrix B as well, we can count the number of rows as 1, 2, and 3, number of columns as 1 and 2. So it has m equal to 3 rows, but the number of columns are n equal to 3. It is not an example of a square matrix because the number of rows is not equal to the number of columns. Its dimensions are 3 by 2 and it is a rectangular matrix. Problem number 2 is asking us to determine the rank of the given matrix. Determining the rank of a matrix can sometimes be tricky because you have to look at the columns and rows closely and determine whether they are linearly independent or not. So let's take a look at this example. If you look closely, you'll find that our row 3 of this matrix is actually a sum of row 1 and 2. So if I add row 1 and 2, so I have 1, 2, 3 in the first row and 0, 2, 2 in the second row. If I add these two rows, okay, then you will see that I'll end up with 5, 4, and 1, which is our row 3. So that basically means that row 3 is the sum of row 1 and 2. So row 3 is not linearly independent. Similarly for the column, if I look at column number 3, you'll see that column number 3 is simply the sum of the first two columns. So 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 plus 4. So this corresponds to 3, 2, and 5, which is the column number 3. So over here, although it has 3 rows and 3 columns, but the number of linearly independent columns and rows is basically 2. We have 2 independent rows and 2 independent columns. Therefore, the rank of this matrix is 2. Another thing over here to remember is that this is a 3 by 3 matrix. So the upper limit for the rank of a matrix is 3. It cannot be greater than the number of rows or columns. In this case, since one of the rows and one of the columns, we found them to be not linearly independent, that's why the rank is 2. But even if we had all independent rows and all independent columns, then the maximum rank of the matrix would have been 3. We started this introductory lecture on matrices with the definition of matrix, and then we dived into matrix theory by defining elements of a matrix, dimensions of a matrix, rank of a matrix, and identity matrix. Identity matrix will come into play when we are discussing the inverse of a matrix and some of its other properties. If you found this preview lecture helpful, I am confident that you will also greatly benefit from the full course that contains over 150 lectures and covers all the topics that are found in the latest NCEES FE Electrical and Computer Exam specification. You will also get access to tons of quizzes and mini exams in this course that will help you get additional practice, along with a bonus full-length computer simulated practice exam. This streamlined and well-reviewed course comes with an amazing 30-day full refund policy, no questions asked. On top of all this, I have also included a special discount link in the text section of this video.